I want to tell you a very humble story about water, the legend of the Gowanus ghost streams and how I went looking for them. When I was a child, my grandmother would tell me ghost stories, and she would take me out to the fields and show me how you could see the ghosts of old Roman temples rippling in the wind at sunset. The wheat would grow just a hair shorter on the old building foundations, creating the ghost shadows. And ever since, when I walk through the landscape, I look for those memories of the past, like the ripples of water right on the Gowanus Canal with a fantastic story of a lost river to tell. And I'll walk by you, my neighbors, pumping water out of their basement and ask, what's going on here? And then along came the great flood that made all my water curiosity relevant again. And I went back to the old maps, the stars where we are today, and I realized we were once a great tidal marsh crisscrossed by rivers and streams. And underneath all that landfill, the water ghosts were still very much alive. Like right here on the Whole Foods site, the ghost of Denton's Pond came right back when they dug out the toxic waste and then was buried again. And sadly now we're a concrete city, so it's difficult to visualize where those ancient water worlds once were. But when we start bringing in the old maps, we understand why we flood. And the tragedy was that a century ago, when we buried all of those old streams, we lost something, their cleaning function. They became sewage pouring out into our Gowanus Canal, killing the fish, echoing pollution. And our whole universe depends on everything fitting together just right. And when even the smallest piece of it busts, like our humble Gowanus Creek here, it echoes its pain across our whole world. And I decided I was going to find all those busted little ghost pieces and fit them back together again. And when you have a busted ghost problem like mine, who are you going to call? Well, that's kind of obvious. The grassrootsmappers from Gowanus, the coolest place on earth. They have the magical eye-in-the-sky technology that allows you to find those spirits scurrying right underneath your feet. The technology is pretty simple. You take a cheap digital camera, tie a string to it, program it to take pictures automatically, tie it to a balloon or kite, and send it up to the sky to make made-in Brooklyn aerials that allow you to see the shadows lurking right underneath your nose. And why are they so great? Because they allow you to see things better. When you take your UFO now and hover it over the word Gowanus in Google Earth, you'll notice the aerials there are simply amazing. They're better than anyone else's. Well, that's because we put them there. Gowanus grassroots mappers, us, you. And the reason we did that is because these aerials are portals of discovery for us. They allow us to see things when we want to see them, like right after the rain, because we're interested in the ghost shadows, the puddles that give us clues to where the old streams may be hiding. Because if we're going to get those millions of gallons out of the canal, that really is what you think you're seeing there, we need to find the hopes for stream restoration opportunities. So we sent our community of balloon mappers out onto the waters of the canal and took pictures like this one, right after Sandy, where they look for clues in the patterns of the water, and we found them, hiding in the patterns of light and dark water, like right here at the First Street Basin landfill, where the old streams and springs are creating a dark shadow on the water. And the First Street Basin landfill, just to orient yourself, is just south of the Carroll Street Bridge. And this is a view of the spring that we found. And we decided we were going to try to track exactly where the spring was coming from. So we took the balloon camera and floated it above the landfill and got pictures of, well, a lot of green stuff, but green stuff in a pattern of water-loving plants growing over what we thought was a buried stream bed. But how do you prove an insight like that? Well, one of the amazing things about living in the digital world is that you can take old maps and you can make them digital ghosts themselves. You can scan them, make them melt through the walls of matter and time, and grab the old water layers that you're interested in, and take them to this aerial you took just last week and overlay century-old water to prove the obvious, that plants like water, and bringing in all the other data ecology layers, the old buildings, the roads, the marshes, valuable lessons start emerging for ghost stream hunters. First, look for the colonial buildings, ghosts like old buildings. The Gowanus was salty water. If you wanted to live here 200 years ago, you needed fresh water to drink. Hence, Denton's Spring, Denton's Mill. And second, look for the patterns of strange plants. Plants like water, bigger plants like more water. The biggest tree is growing right on top of the spring. And you may say, cool insights, but why should I care about these ghost streams? Because when you want to move on from these pictures of dead fish to finding solutions to the problems. And this shows us where all of the streams are, the ghost streams that we found. And these now become strategic planning data for us, places for live water quality improvement restoration opportunities. It also shows us the streams that we didn't find. They're on the old maps, they never show up in the canal. And what do you do when you think your stream is hiding in a sewer, was diverted there a century ago? Well, this is Gowanus. You go into the sewer. And should you be crazy enough to go into the flushing tunnel for sewer main late at night, you will find the old historic streams trickling into the canal, into the sewer. And this raises a broader planning debate about historic streams and sewers. This is the mechanized flushing tunnel that'll bring millions of gallons of fresh water into our canal this year. Thank you, New York City, for this amazing water quality improvement. But we have to ask the question, are these mechanized rivers, these robot rivers, really the way of the future? Are we really going to be able to pump all our streams forever? Shouldn't we instead be asking how we can bring these streams back to the surface, to the sunshine, to take advantage of the natural gravity that water loves and that also happens to be free? And yes, we may be stuck in the sewer right now, but some of us are looking at the stars. And many great artists, planners, are thinking about exactly what shape those stars should take. Ideas like flood parks, where we take the old ghost marshes and make them into waterfront parks to deal with climate change flooding. Ideas like street creeks, where we recreate our natural stream systems through a system of canals and rain parks. Ideas like watershed-wide planning. You won't see everything on this map, but just understand that there's so much we can do. Flood tanks, fun ideas like play pumps, where the city takes every one of our playgrounds and makes it the water collection point for all the ancient water, putting cisterns there, and specialized merry-go-rounds where when the children play, they pump the ghost water out of the ground to make them living spirits again. And you, me, we can make friends with these ghosts of our rainwater past. And together, we can put together all of those busted little pieces, if not for the universe, then for our Gowanus backyard. Thank you.